Right, so first golden reel qualifier of the year today. Due to other commitments, I've been here, there and everywhere, so I hadn't really had much time to try and qualify for golden reel. So there's 2 qualifiers left. You've got today at Barston Lakes, and then you've got Monday at Hayfield. So I'm going to try and do both of them. Well, hopefully I'll win today and not have to go on Monday, but if I don't win today, then I'll go to Hayfield Monday. So yeah, we're at Barston Lakes, drawn peg 29. Got to be honest, I haven't really been doing loads of this type of fishing, like feeder fishing at distance, and I feel a little bit rusty, but I've had some amazing info from Mikey Williams, who fished the festival here not long ago. So my general approach, I have set a pole up because I'm actually going to start slapping, just see if I can nick 1 or 2 big uns early. I'm going to feed an 8mm pellet line, and then I'm going to start at about 45 metres on a method. PVA bags are actually banned today, so I'm just going to start on a method feeder, one of the new Matrix hybrid type feeders. I'm going to start at 45 metres and I'm going to work my way out. I'm going to fan left and right. So yeah, and then I've got an edge line as well. I really didn't fancy the edge because it's like, you can see how shallow it is when I'm sitting in the edge. But I spoke to Mikey and he said the guy on the festival on the last day on this peg caught 7 in the edge late. So it's something I've got to cover. So yeah, I've got my edge line, I've got my slapping line, I've got my 8mm line, and then my method line. I can't see all 4 of them working, but I think like 150 pounds going to win today. So it's not loads of bites, so who knows where it can be won from. Whenever I've been here in the past in the qualifiers, like pegs 14 to 18 and then that end, it always seemed to win. This bit's always okay, but never enough to win. But it might be different today with just 1 banking. There's only 31 people on the qualifier as well, which I'm a bit amazed at. So he's only put 1 bank in. That bank across from there is totally free. So yeah, not been doing loads of this type of fishing, so I'm really looking forward to it, to be honest. Something a little bit different, a little bit less intense than trying to catch 300 pound shallow. So yeah, I'll keep you informed every hour and see how my day goes. So we are about 50 minutes in. So like I said in the intro, I was going to start slapping a pellet over. I did. I slapped a pellet over for 15 minutes. I had 1 bite, but I missed it, and I didn't have any bow waves out of my peg or anything, so I'm guessing that was probably a skimmer. So I put that down, and I started off at my 40-metre line. I had 4 chucks there, about 6-7 minute chucks, but I didn't have a bite there. And the guy to my left has actually started past everyone. He started at about 65 metres, I reckon, 60-65 metres, and he caught 2. So I literally unclipped, chucked it to about 60 metres, I reckon. Literally, first chuck, I've hooked this. Definitely a carp. It's not a very big one. Probably 5-6 pound ghosty. God, it feels ever so weird playing them on 12-foot rods. There we go. So that's my first carp. 50 minutes in, so not too bad a start. Obviously not like a match-winning start, but it's a bite, and we've got something to work on now. Obviously that first distance where I started, that 40 metres, wasn't quite right today. It might be because the bank opposite's not in. So the fish might have pushed across a bit because the bank's not in. But I don't know. So I'm just going to carry on fishing that distance for a minute. See what happens, and then I'll give you another little update. So I've only got 1 fish, got 5-6 pound in the net after an hour, which isn't ideal, but no one's really catching, not that I can see any. The wind is blowing down into the low teens. So I would imagine someone down there probably would be catching, but I might be wrong. But I'm going to keep fishing at this distance, and I'll let you know what's happening. Right, so we are 2 hours in. I've got to be honest, not a lot to report. So I went out to 60 metres, I caught a carp, which you saw, then I plopped back in again, caught an F1, then I caught 2 skimmers, and I thought, it's alright, and then I never had another bite then. So, I dropped back into 45 metres, never had a bite. I just don't think that 40 metre sort of line today is right. But realistically, I've got like £12 after 2 hours, which is absolutely no good whatsoever. So, what I'm thinking is now, realistically, the only way I'm going to catch enough now to do any good would be to drop on this 8mm line, where I've been feeding 8mm, and catch some decent carp. I have got my edge line as well, which is another option, and the guy on this peg in that festival did catch 7 in the edge late, so that is an option. But realistically, like, no one's catching, well, not that I can see of anybody's catching anything. The guy to my left's had 3 fish now, one of them was a decent one, so he's still beating me, but still 3 fish in 2 hours ain't great. I haven't seen anybody to my right catch much at all, so I expect somewhere they're going to be catching, like down in the teens or down in the 50s. Someone's got to be catching, but this little area here seems really tough. Where I'm feeding my 8mm, I'm not getting any fizz in, which isn't the best of sign. Normally when you get those carp in your peg here, you fire your 8mm in and you get some fizz in. But yeah, no, not a lot to report at the moment. I hope it gets a little bit better and I can drop on something and catch some fish, but it's, it doesn't look like there's many fish in this sort of area. I don't know, sort of kind of wished I would have just like maybe come here and just fished a pole. Like slapped, loose fed 6mm, maybe fished on the bottom over the top of the 6mm with an 8mm on the hook. Sort of fished like that, but I don't know. If I would have done that and not had a bite, I would have been said, oh, I should have fished a feeder. So, I don't know. So difficult, so easy to say, oh, I've done it wrong when you're not getting a bite. Oh, that one on. Definitely an indication. That's a good sign now. Just plopped it on those 8mm and had a sign straight away. Thought that was just going to carry on going there. The guy to my left is fishing like 60 odd metres and he caught a couple and then he never caught anything. Then he's picked up like a carp rod with a great big feeder on and he's fed bait at 60 metres, 60 odd metres I reckon. But he hasn't had a bite since he's done that. Don't know really what to do next, to be honest. I think I'm just going to fish this 8mm line with a little hybrid feeder. Probably put an 8mm on the hook or a little pink wafter and just try and fish like that, because I just feel lobbing a feeder out into the 40 to 60 metres, yeah, you'll get an odd bite fishing like that, but you're never going to do any good. You need to like feed some bait and fish in an area where you can catch regularly. But no, not a lot to report at the moment, but hopefully within the next hour I might plop on something and get some bites, fingers crossed, eh? So, since the last little update, I was just dropping on this 8mm pellet line, where I've been feeding it for like 2 hours. And I dropped in, caught an F1, literally straight away, right the rod round. Popped back in, had another F1. Then I caught 2 skimmers, and I was just thinking, like, oh no, that was just obviously a couple of fish that were there because I've been feeding. And then, literally, I plopped this out, 30 seconds, rod wrapped round. So, that's like 5 fish in 5 chunks. Brilliant, mate, thank you. Yeah, he's gone clear now. The pegs are so close there, you've got to be ever so careful with the guy next to you. So yeah, 5 fish and 5 chunks on this 8mm line. You can fish with a smaller rod, slightly smaller feeder on this line, so it feels nicer. A guy's just walked down, an angler, just walked down from the top end, and there's a guy on peg 54 with £100 already, and there's a guy on 49 with £100 already. So, winning the match and qualifying today is out of the equation, it's out of the question. That ain't going to happen today. It just seems like all the fish are down in the 50s. But, so what you got to do in this situation, you're not going to win the match, not going to qualify, is just try and take everything I can from the day. I've just caught 5 fish on this line, so that's a few bites, and I'm still fishing for my section. My section goes from 26 to 43. Oh, size! So, if I go in now and just keep catching on this 8mm line, surely I've got a chance of winning my section, surely. Right, this is my first proper carp I've had. Oh no! No! That's unbelievable. Just popped off of them. Right, not to worry. I've just mentioned winning my section and that happened. Cool, we're not having a good day today, but it happens. So, don't let it worry you, just go back out. It's probably just hooked just outside the mouth or something like that. I'll just tell myself that anyway. Just keep going, and maybe if I can just keep catching a few fish on this line, we can put a weight together. A bit gutted about that one. Just feeding my 8mm twice. And then just plopping this feeder right on the far edge of them. For the last couple of chucks, within like 2 minutes I've hooked one. So I'll leave the camera rolling just for a couple of minutes. Just fishing with a little Sonia Bates pink wafter on the hook. One of the new Matrix hybrid feeders that are coming out soon. 30 grammer. Pretty simple fishing really, but oh mate, I'm gutted about that. Absolutely gutted. Got a massive hook on as well. Size 12x9. It shouldn't come off like that. I bet that was hooked like just round here or something like that. Bit unlucky. I have got. Alright, pal. No, nothing, mate. No, nothing. Yeah. I think that one's just a skimmer. Yeah, just a real small fish that was. Maybe a roach, that. Tiny little fish. Right, so I've got one more chunk. That guy then just said that peg 56 has got about 130 pounds. So this is the problem with carp fishing for me. You come to these venues and there always seems to be one area where you just catches massive weights compared to everywhere else. You go to F1 venues and it's not like that. Go tunnel and that and you never know. So I'll feed my 8mm. I'm just going to plop this feeder just past it. I reckon that looks good for a bite though. I can imagine though, fishing like this, if you're on a load of fish, they're coming to your bait and feeding, it'd be absolutely brilliant. Because you've got a bit of an area where your 8mm are all landing, you're making loads of noise, you're creating a little bit of an area, and then you've got a little hot spot with your feeder. That's got some smell, some attraction, some 2mm there. I can see why, when I've been here in the past, fishing like this has always been brilliant. But yeah, winning today is definitely out of the equation by the sounds of things. If he's had 130 already, that slapping line, what I've always found here, that you catch like that early and then you start feeding late and you have another good run. So if he starts feeding and has another good run, he could catch a massive weight there today. Gets to 150 before he starts feeding, and then starts feeding, catches another, he could catch like £300 there today. And you could need 70 to 80 to win this section by the looks of things, so mind. If I can nick a couple more decent ones on this line and not lose them, and then have a good little run in that edge, which I think might happen by the sounds of things. You never know, it could end up £100, but it's not looking good at the moment. But yeah, just got to try and take everything you can out of these days, try and learn a little bit. Try and learn how to catch a few fish off a bad peg, off a bad area. Still try and enjoy it. Oh, there we go, see that? See, I know like, obviously I'm not going to win the match, but I can't ask for much more. I'm getting a barge out now. This is how I've always fished at Barston, and I fished the UK champs on here about 3 years ago, and this is how I fished. And I've done really well, caught like 90 odd pound. 124 won the match with like 140, and I think I was like third in the match from like 43, just fishing like this. And I remember coming back thinking, Jesus, that was brilliant, you know. Right, I'm going to really take my time with this one now, just try and get it in for you. Nice, there we go. If that would have come off, I would have packed up. Oh, big fish, aren't they? Real big fish. So, God, that was never coming off, ever. The only way that was ever going to come off is if it snapped me. So that other one that come off of the net, that must have been hooked just outside the mouth or something like that. It's got a great big hook on. I think the problem is as well, it's so shallow short here that when you get the fish in close, they fight so hard. That one wasn't too bad, but that other one I lost definitely would have been hooked outside the mouth, because if they're hooked like that, then it was like a centimetre down in the bottom, the middle of the bottom lip. It's never ever coming off. Let's get back out. Little squeeze, dunk it in me liquid, fire me 8 mils in. It didn't go in very accurately. It's better. Just going to plop this right in the middle of them, that will just on the far edge now. Beautiful, that looks good for a bite. Right, what I'll do, I'll keep filming for about another 2-3 minutes, because I fancy getting one fairly quick, this chuck. And then I'll give you another update. What have we got left? 2¼ hours. Like 90 minutes to go. I'm going to feed my edge. That's better. Yeah, 90 minutes to go. I'll feed my edge. So I'll give you an update then. But just give it 2 more minutes, because I'm starting to get a few bubbles now. God, I thought that was going to go. Just a little dink. Thought it was just going to carry on, you know. I'm not going to leave my cast long today, definitely not, because like you can see from the last 3 chucks that I've caught them really quickly. Guy up to my right, it's just netting a skimmer. Definitely got a bit more fizzing on that line now, where I'm fishing. Which is a good sign. It might be skimmers, but at least there's fish feeding in the area. One thing I have noticed, when I fire my 8 mils in, if they go in boom, accurate, and you plop it right on the edge, you seem to get a quick bite. For some reason my 8 mils didn't go in quite as nice then. And I've had one little indication, but I've not had a pull around this chuck. Shows how important accuracy is. Right, so that's been out there like 3 minutes now. That's not, I don't think that's going to go round. I honestly think on this line, if you're going to get a bite, you'll get it within 3 or 4 minutes. So what I'll do, I'll stop filming now, and I'll give you a little update with 90 minutes to go. I'll start filming as I feed my edge. But I'm just going to fish this 8mm line and my edge line now to the end, keep it really simple and just try and win this section. There might be someone in this section with a decent weight light, but I don't know, so I've got to keep fishing. And I can't exactly wrap up and go home. There's about 1 million pole rollers before you can get out. So yeah, I'll give you an update with 90 minutes to go. A little bit of a disappointing half an hour, to be honest. I caught that carp. I caught when I was last filming. And then since then, I've not hooked another decent fish, like just little skimmers and stuff like that. Messed about with hook baits. I tried an 8mm pellet. I didn't have a bite on that. Gone back to me wafter and caught a couple of skimmers. So, but I've got to be honest, I just don't think there's many carp in here. I'm looking around and no one's really catching any carp in this middle bit. It just seems like the end is good and that end's good. Peg 13 was emitting to 130, 140, and you still got an hour and a half to go. Peg 54's got similar, so there'll be some weights either end, but this middle bit seems to be a bit tough. The only thing I've got left in my locker really now is this edge line, where I'm just going to do something a little bit different. I've basically got like 1 kilo of grain bait, I've got like a pint of casters, a pint of micros, mixed it all round in a bowl. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to chuck in like 4 big balls like that. I'm going to throw them in, make a bit of noise, make a bit of an area, and I'm going to cup a couple of big cupfuls of it as well, just so I get a little bit of accuracy. But I'm just going to bosh in a load of bait down there. If I see some swirls, if I see something coming on it, then I'll drop down in on it with 2 or 3 worms on the hook. I might as well do that now whilst I'm filming, because that 8mm line seems to have gone. I think basically there was a little shoal of fish there that I built up for feeding it for 2 hours, and then I caught what I caught out of that little shoal and it's gone again. But so let's see if I can what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop these in first so I get my eye in exactly where I need to throw my grain bait. Right, so I've got a nice little brown reflection there. So I'm just going to put two cupfuls of grain bait there, like that, of the mix, and then I'm going to throw 4 big balls in and around there. Make a bit of noise. Tell you what, that looks lovely, that. Right, so exactly 90 minutes to go. What I'll probably do is I'll just keep feeding this 8mm line, keep fishing this line, and then if I see some indications down there, I'll get down there. But unfortunately, the last half an hour, really not very much to report, unfortunately, but I feel like this is just the area that we're in today. A bit more of a tough area. I think slapping's been the best method by a long way. Listening to some of the guys to catch the weights, so I'm glad I started like I did. I'm glad I started slapping, because at least I've given myself a chance. of catching on the right method, even though I didn't think it'd be right here. Right, so yeah, hopefully we'll start seeing some tails down that edge in a minute, and get down there with 2 or 3 worms on the hook, and away you go. Right, so hour to go. You saw me feed my edge line, but nothing really came, well, nothing's came in yet, but I've still got an hour to go. Carried on fishing that 8mm line for a bit, but it went all funny. I couldn't get a bite, so I've just plopped my long rod out basically. I unclipped and just chucked it as far as I sensibly could, you know. Just a nice comfortable chuck. I don't know how long it's gone, and it's gone range virtually straight away. But definitely not loads of carp here, definitely not. The guy to my left's fished a lovely match, really accurate, long all day, but he's still not going to do any good, not in the match, like, you know. So I'm glad I fished in the way I have, starting slapping, fishing my 8mm line and doing all that. Because I have given myself a chance to win fishing like that, but I don't know what's going to win my section. I'm not too sure. If they come in that edge, I just can't see them coming in. I just can't see there being enough carp here for them to come in down the edge. Don't know. But fishing like this long method, now this isn't the way to win the match, I'm sure of it, you know, like slapping or fishing a short method, that's the way to win. Or yeah, obviously if PVA bags were allowed, then fishing a PVA bag could be good. I think it's quite a decent fish, this one. I can see why people come here and fish a lot there, because it is exciting fishing. Like fishing, starting your match on like a long distance and then working your way in, maybe catching slapping and stuff like that. So I can see why people come, because it's quite exciting fishing. Decent fish. And the prep is so minimal, it's unbelievable. You just set your rods up, which takes about 2 minutes. A few up lamps. Nice fish. But yeah, what I might do, I'm going to still ping some 8mm in case I have a quick chuck on that. But I can see me just plopping this long method about. But one thing I do think that's happened today is because that other bank's not in, that far bank, I do think the fish have sat at distance. Almost like because there's no one over there, they've gone and sat over there. Because I spoke to obviously Mikey Williams and people like that before the start, and they said fishing at 40 to 50 metres has been brilliant, but today it's been a waste of time. I feel like the fish are like sat at 70 to 80 metres. But still saying that, realistically, if you're going to win today, you would have had to catch slapping. So yeah, what's that now? 55 minutes to go. I'm keeping an eye on that edge, see if anything pops in. But if not, I'm just going to stick with this long range method and maybe a quick chuck on that 8mm line as well. So yeah, I'll fill you in probably Unless I go in the edge now, I'll probably give you an update near the end of the match. To go. I've been keeping, it hasn't been very good. I nicked an odd fish on that 8mm line. I've been keeping a real good eye on my edge line, and I haven't seen any signs until 2 minutes ago. I saw 2 swirls, and there's 10 minutes to go, so I'm just going to drop in and see if I can get a bite. I'm quite surprised nothing's come in earlier. That was a bite, but I don't know if that was just a small fish. There was definitely a fish down there though. No, it's just small fish. No, that's not right, that. Going in there and I literally can't even get my rig to the bottom with perch. I've got like 3 whole worms on. You just wouldn't be getting that if there was a volume of carp in there, you know. That's no good. I'll have one more quick go just in case, but I don't think that's going to be right. That swirl might have just been, I don't know, one passing for one coming a peg, but it's definitely not there's not lots there. See, there's another swirl down there, just past my float. So there's definitely an odd carp there, but I just can't keep my rig in the water with perch. Probably should have fed corn or something, really. I didn't know it was going to be like this with these perch there. Look, there's definitely some carp in my peg there now, but it's just trying to get. How do I put a bait on that's not going to get eaten by a perch? Oh yes, I got one. That's unbelievable. 10 minutes to go, they come in. That was on 3 worms, that. Why can't they just come in like an hour earlier? I reckon I might have time to just try and get one more if I get this one in. Yeah, I got one. Sorry, I don't know the guy's name to my left today, but he's a lovely guy for chatting all day. Come on, pop up nice and quick for me. Give me 5 minutes to get another. Oh, is that massive? Don't do that. I thought I might get a chance to get in then. Come on. If I can just get him. And then that'll just give me 5 minutes. Wow, look at the size of that! Look at the size of that thing. It's got to be £20 surely. Oh, you even got me worms still on. Right, what have I got? 5-6 minutes? Come on. One more. Oh, there's a swirl there, look, there's a swirl. Come on, one more bite. Oh my God, I've got another. Right, do you reckon I can get this one quick and get another? Right, 2-3 minutes I reckon. I think I've got just enough bait for one more feed. I've got just enough time for one more bite. No, that's a perch, no. Come on, give me one more. About 2 minutes. There's no swirl. There's no swirls there, but I've not hooked a perch. Oh. Come on, one more. I'm not going to feed, I ain't got enough bait. I don't think I've got time. Oh, you little... I thought that was going to be a carp. Oh well. That was a little bit of excitement at the end. Right, so yeah, that's it, match over. A bit frustrating really, because like, I feel like I've caught nothing, absolutely nothing. But every time you get a bite, it's a decent fish. I've lost that one decent fish on the feeder at the net, but that must have been hooked around there, because the size of hook I got on, if it's hooked properly in the mouth, they just don't come off. Like, I don't know what weight's going to win, but I've not caught loads of fish, but it's still a decent day. I still feel like I've learned a lot, and I can see why people do this style of fishing. It is very exciting when you hook one. It's brilliant. So yeah, like obviously I'm never going to win from here, but I still really enjoyed it, and I caught an odd fish. So what I'll do, I'll weigh in and I'll let you know exactly what's happened. Well, I was going to do a little roundup on the bank after my day at Barston, but unfortunately my mics ran out of battery, so I had to come home. I didn't do it on the night of the match, so I'm just doing it now next day. So yeah, a little roundup, exactly what happened. So basically started my match on that method at like 45 metres roughly. Didn't catch anything. The guy to my left started a little bit further, like 65 metres. I pushed out to that, caught a few fish, but I just never felt like you were ever going to compete fishing like that. There was like a guy walked down after about an hour and 20, and the young lad, I think it's Ty, he was on about peg 54, 56, and he had like £100 after an hour and 20, and you're just never going to catch that weight fishing like a method feeder at like 60 odd metres. You're just not going to do it. And then George Parker down on about peg 13, chucking it to the golf green. He was catching one a chuck on a method in that shallow water. So yeah, that like I caught a few fish fishing like that, but it was never ever going to be good enough to do any good. So then I came back in on my 8mm line where I was loose feeding 8mm and had a really good run. I think I caught about 7 or 8 fish in as many chucks. Only a couple of carp, obviously I lost that one. A few F1s, a few skimmers, stuff like that. So I had a good little run and it put a few fish in my net. But again, like realistically, if you're catching F1s, skimmers, stuff like that, you're just not going to compete for the match. I did have a bit of a mental last 10 minutes in the edge, which you've obviously seen on the video, which was really good fun. Shame they didn't come in like an hour earlier. But yeah, that first one I had in the edge was like 18, 19 pounds, I'm sure of it. It was massive. So like it just shows if they would have come in like an hour earlier, the size of the fish, you really could put a weight together. So yeah, I ended the match with about I think I had 75, 77 pounds, which is a day's fishing. I learned a lot about the venue. I'd feel more confident going there on the next qualifier after seeing what I saw on this one. It's a fairly simple match really. If you draw in that deeper end, there's a lot of slapping, turning the rig over with an 8mm, trying to catch carp like that. If you draw around that golf green, you obviously got a long method chuck to that to the golf green in the shallow water, and then that bit in between. You've got a few options really. You can fish how I did, exactly like what you've seen in the video. The other option, what you can do is a guy that was on about peg 48, and he caught a really good weight. I think he had about 140, 150. And how he fished, he actually used like a bait up feeder on a carp rod, and he was baiting his peg up and then chucking a method on top of it. So he had like a volume of bait in his peg, and just fished down one hole all day. So that's the other option about how to fish. Which is probably a better option from where I was, but the guy to my right done it lovely. He was so accurate. He done it at like 60 metres. He used a bait up feeder and chucked a method on top, and he packed up with an hour to go. So he literally didn't catch anything. So probably the way I fished in that little area wasn't too far wrong. Didn't win anything on the day, didn't win my section, obviously didn't frame. Well done to Ty. I think he won it on peg 56. He had £220. George Parker was second on 13 with 217. So I was never going to catch those weights, but I learned a lot about the venue. It was nice to do a little bit of that fishing because I hardly been doing any of that type of fishing, to be honest, feeder fishing for carp. So yeah, it was a really nice day. It was still a really good day. That's what I feel like. That's what you got to do with these qualifiers. You can't have the sort of mentality that, oh, I'm not going to win, I'm just going to go home. Like, I feel like if you do that and you have a little bit of a bad run, then you're just going to stop enjoying your fishing. I'd still try and take something out of the day. I mean, I haven't been doing these qualifiers for that long, really. 4 or 5 years, and it ain't really that long compared to some of the lads. So I'm still learning about each venue that we go to. So yeah, learned quite a bit from the venue. Brilliant venue, like great. It's such exciting fishing, the size of the fish. I really enjoyed it and only caught £75. Like I can imagine if you could get on the main shoal fish, like down in those low teens or up in that deeper water in the 50s, it would be phenomenal. But yeah, another good day, good qualifier. And as long as I'm enjoying it, that's the main thing for me now. I've got another qualifier at Hayfield on Monday. So I'm looking forward to that. I love Hayfield, more carp fishing, more big carp fishing. So I reckon that'd be a lot of pole fishing on the bottom with pellets, maybe a bit of edge fishing. So yeah, only a couple to go. A couple at Hayfield left now. So yeah, looking forward to trying to get in looking forward to fishing those last two, trying to get in the Maver or the Golden Reel now. So yeah, but a good day. Really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Obviously didn't win, but it's still a good day. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it.